experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The next element is inner satsang. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there will be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So happy Tuesday, everyone. So let me first introduce someone who has joined the satsang today, Richard Hurley. Yeah, and so Richard used to join satsangs in New Jersey. So today he's with me here in Virginia. Yeah, I'll talk about one more thing after the session. So today I was reading again about neuroplasticity and how scientists are finding that our behavior actually changes our brain. And interestingly, for all my life, as born in satsang, and I was, listening to the benefits and how satsang changes behavior. I never thought that it was, so it's like when you meditate, you change your behavior, and when you change your behavior, your brain literally changes shape. Um, the way um, uh, and this is actually pretty broad-based study, and there was a um, documentary on PBS. I'll bring some more from there in terms of what they're finding, but nothing new. It's something that has been practiced for ages. Now they are just finding that it actually does what it had been doing. Um, then there was also a study in Berkeley. You know, they are talking about 7 qualities of uh, overall well-being, and especially that brings resilience and uh, you know uh, so uh, especially they're talking about how um, equanimity of that is being described as a felt sense of calm, strength, and having enough already. So basically, steadiness, lovingness, and fullness. And again, I mean, when I look back over the years, very, very different context, very different approach. Sometimes, uh, I mean, what I would call a religious overtone, or, um, you know, this is uh, more of a benefit, but, uh, you know, steadiness or calm, when, I mean, essentially, when you meditate, one of the most important pieces is to calm your mind. That's especially in the practice that we have, satsang, and, trying to um, meditate on um, transcendental energy and transcendental light. Um, the first, so when you manifest that, when you embody that, uh, all these 3 things, calmness or steadiness of your mind, lovingness, and we have talked at length about how unconditional love and um, selfless and unconditional love, which people talk about, but walking that walk is very, very tough. And fortunately, I have seen people in my life who, uh, you know, embodied that or demonstrated that day in and day out. Having enough already. And we talked about it, like when you meditate, one of the things that we're trying to do when you focus inwards, you want to find the inner peace within. Um, and this inward orientation and trying to find inner peace within is also, there is almost like a connotation that um, you are complete within. You don't have to look for this peace outside. It's already within you. So all these things, and again, I think I will bring some more notes back from that. It even goes on to talk about how when you find inner peace, when you are inward oriented, and when you find this steadiness, lovingness, and fullness, you actually if you go further on that path, then you find timelessness, which is, again, big words, but I think all of what we're talking about here can be accomplished through this practice. So let's get into it. So basically, inward orientation and manifestation of transcendental energy. So those are the two things that then lead to deeper meditation and higher consciousness. So for inward orientation, eyes lightly closed and still and relaxed posture. So still and relaxed posture basically, keeps our mind from getting distracted, because every time the body moves, your mind moves with it. To get to that calm state of mind, it's important that we minimize the distractions to the mind. So eyes lightly closed, so sensory input through the eyes, we're minimizing that. And then still and relaxed posture. So you sit still, and that also helps in this inward orientation. Then concentration, what do we concentrate on? That's extremely important for any meditation, any meditative practice. So here, whatever you decide to be the source, we are focused on the conscious image or conscious form, and that is full of this transcendental energy in form of light, and that light is entering your heart, enlightening your heart, and then this light is distributing throughout your body, and you are getting completely immersed in this light. You're essentially becoming the light. So I'll repeat it again. Eyes lightly closed, relaxed and still posture. And then you think about this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart, enlightening your heart, then distributing throughout your body, so you are getting totally immersed in this light. Mind will wander away, which is natural. At that point, all you have to do is bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that transcendental energy is here with us right now, right here. Feel the presence, feel the connection, and that light is entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. And as I said, essentially inward orientation, manifestation, or object of concentration, those are the two things you start with. And we'll start with music, that music helps concentration. And then music fades away, and you go into deep, silent meditation. And let's not do anything else during this time, any mindfulness, breathing, mantras, chanting, whatever else. Do it before or after. And this practice helps in, making those practices better as well. But for now, there is no activity, just observing this transcendental light in form of transcendental energy in form of light. That light is entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. Let's start now. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Again, glad that we're here in Satsang. And I'm glad that Richard, who I know for 2 decades or more, is here with us too. And pleasantly surprised that Shivangi, who um, uh, actually is waiting for having her first baby. So let's all send good vibes, best wishes, all the good energy, and you know, um, all the blessings to her. Um, so yeah, and talking about resilience, you know, everything around meditation. Um, we all, um, there is meditations that talk about gratitude, um, you know, and I think if we look at developing resilience, which brings together calmness, gratitude, confidence, courage, and as we were discussing earlier, loving less, fullness, and then lead towards timelessness. Um, and yeah, totally agree, Steve. You know, I think yes, uh, somewhere Guru Maharaj said that you know, some people always think that meditation and spiritual stuff is for people who are retired. And actually, it is good for people who are retired. I definitely think so. But Guru Maharaj has written that, like in long term investments, the earlier you start, the better. Even if you slowly started, the earlier you start, he actually does ask, you know, that when do you see, it's like, would you like to meditate and feel good and feel better, the joy and this whole set of things that we just talked about, uh, when you're young, and uh, or you want to do when you're, you know, about to uh, uh, when you have no energy, when you have no ability to do anything, that's when you want to do this. So we got to um, you know got to step back and look at that. So I always, even in India, when I go, I encourage younger people to start somewhere. And I do find, I mean, you go through different phases, different amount of effort and time, and uh, you know, um, even like there are phases in which it's very hard to just sit and uh, you know meditate, but those are the times when you really need it. um, so yeah, start young, and it's all um, so any thoughts, questions, comments? Hey, Steve.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, how's the weather there?
Actually, cool. It's probably 40 degrees and maybe a little breezier than I'd like, but we haven't had a lot of snow this winter, so it's been a good winter, I guess. Spring coming tomorrow, so we'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were talking about how um, meditation can change the composition of your brain, and I had it made me think of I had a high school psychology teacher, and he actually left teaching and started practicing psychology to help people. And he was just an interesting man. His name was Jim Nelson. I have no idea what he's up to today, but he was a wonderful teacher, and I remember him um, teaching about different cultures and different things. And I remember him teaching about. He taught us that yoga is. He described it as union of body and mind, and so it makes perfect sense that when you would practice one, it would benefit the other. And he was a at the time he's an interesting man. I suppose he was in his 40s, and he had completely gray hair. He's a very I think he was a very stressful man, but he would come to school and he would go into the book storage, and we had a very big high school. It was one of the biggest high schools in Minnesota. We graduated over 750 kids a class. It was just like a factory. So it was a kind of a crazy place. And he would go um, into the book storage, and he would meditate every day before school. And
Wow.
at the time, I thought he was a little bit out there. Like, I don't know. I was 16, 17 years old. I didn't quite understand it all, but it's interesting because I think about why I'm maybe here today, and some of the things that he taught,
Right. Right.
and some of the things that I think you embody. You talked about equanimity, and so I had to look up Webster's dictionary meaning of that, and it's mental calmness, especially in a difficult situation. So I think he knew Jim knew his own um, disposition. And I think that's how he embraced every day, knowing how he was wired. He would try to go into the day in the right frame of mind. He was just a beautiful man, and he um, taught things that really have stuck with me even to today. And so I think about what makes a great teacher is someone, um, first of all, you have to believe that they know what they're talking about. And secondly, I think you want to know that they can help you. And I think both he and yourself personify that. So I just want to thank you for that. I just
Okay.
feel better in your presence.
That coming from a teacher is a I take it. It's a compliment. Um, and I think one of the things that, and my father was a teacher too. You know, uh, chemistry, thermodynamics, and there used to be a English journal that used to come to our place called Atom, and uh, you know, uh, the whole quantum mechanics, and it was, um, I think, yeah, I never was a teacher, right? But I used to teach some, you know, courses in IT off and on. Even at Sybase, I did that for a bit. Um, Part of my job is doing presentations. Um, but, I actually, very interestingly, when I was in high school, because of some interesting challenges I was having with, uh, you know, interacting with people, I developed a very devout interest in behavioral psychology. And some books after books after books. And And I actually then experimented with it. And at college, I tested the theories. So it was like literally at one point I could manipulate people like playing a chess game. And then I said, like, I didn't start learning this for manipulation, right? And it also went against my, the whole system that I was part of. So kind of slowly came out of that mode. And but I think I should have kept learning that even deeper, because now I'm very interested in neuroscience and how that interacts with meditation and spirituality and faith. And like one of the things I was reading is like when you have faith and belief, um, and if that turns into um, something that you fall back on when you have fear, right? So it's like when inner fears, inner demons, inner challenges appear, you can lean on that strength, right? So those and how this whole you know the psychedelics, the whole experience, out of body experience, and how neuroscience is looking at uh, what's happening with consciousness and neuroplasticity and all these things. Like one very interesting subject that I want to take a deep dive into is how, when you are physically resting, your brain is not resting. In 1920s, late 1920s, there was a paper published, and everybody kind of just like, somebody wrote this. They didn't really look at it, but later on, now that they have brain scans and things like that, what they're realizing is that when you're playing music and when you're meditating, you're concentrating. And when you concentrate, your brain actually has this rest and calm, which otherwise it doesn't. So when you physically rest, your brain is all over the place. But when you do something where you have to concentrate, your brain actually calms down. So that I read a few years ago, and I always think that I'll write something about it and bring all this together, but I need to get some time for that. Yeah, but fascinating, right?
Absolutely. If I could add something on just from a
You,
meditation standpoint.
yeah. No, just take this.
I took it in my early 20s. I was a broker on Wall Street, highly stressful job.
Uh-huh.
My brother and I both went to a place on 21st Street. And they're in
New York, yeah.
Yeah. And we thought we were crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's you have to speak into this. Sorry.
That's okay. So I was just going to say, relating my story about when I was a young broker on Wall Street, I got into TM, and my brother and I both, and they thought we were crazy. Everybody else was going out to the bars to meet customers. And we were meditating first, but and over the years I've fallen away from it, gotten back into it. But one neat trick that I always fall back on to this day is when I'm lying in bed and my brain is overactive, my body's tired, but my mind is racing.
Right.
I just get into the breathing pattern.
Right.
I know how to intuitively get into the pattern, and within minutes I'm asleep. It works.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah. So interesting. So just getting to the top of the hour. So any other thoughts, comments, questions? AC, Jeff, Shivangi, Rajat. So Eddie, would you wrap it up for us then?
Sure. You know, one of the first things that I remember reading was how Guru Maharaj described
Can
the
I
process.
not hear or?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. What happened? I think this got disconnected.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. It was on my end. Thanks for it.
Okay. So I remember one of the first things I remember reading was Guru Maharaj's explanation of creation and how he explained the five sheaths or the five kosha. And so he began stating that creation, if you will, began with the first kosha, which we call the realm of love in terms of the pyramid, but it's the Anandamaya kosh. And then from there it goes to the Ganamaya kosh, Mahamaya kosh, Pranamaya kosh, and then Anamaya kosh. And so as that initial consciousness sort of lowers its vibration and descends through these different kosh, we end up with the physical body in the Anamaya kosh. And so it shouldn't be of a surprise that mind has an effect on the body. And if we look at just the lower three koshas, the Manamaya kosh, Pranamaya kosh, and Anamaya kosh, we can understand what we study in terms of medicine, physiology, pathologies, and those being related to Anamaya kosh, psychology being related mostly to mind, right, which is Manamaya kosh. And then in terms of Pranamaya kosh, we have things like the chakras and the nadis and acupuncture channels. And so obviously they're all connected. So mind can affect the pranamaya kosh, obviously, and those meridians or energy channels and chakras can then affect the endocrine system, the nervous system, and those can affect our organ systems and, our respiratory system and circulatory system and all those things. So it shouldn't be a surprise that, our chemistry in our body can change and those can in turn change the shape and functions of the organs themselves and even awaken some of the dormant energy centers that we have in our body, through our thoughts when they become more pure. And that changes us as well. So just wanted to make mention that it shouldn't be too much of a surprise for us that these things do happen. So as we become, more peaceful and serene and develop this internal strength, we become more like the superheroes that we watch when we're children, like the Supermans and Aquamans, and how they had their special abilities. And that's kind of what these things really these superheroes really reflect, is that sort of hidden knowledge that you essentially awaken these hidden powers within you, and you become like this superhero amongst the common people. So it kind of all ties together there too. But I just wanted to make mention of that, and because it's something I found interesting when Guru Maharaj described that process. It just made so much sense to me. I just never forgot it.
Yeah. All right. So, glad that we were here in Satsang, and hopefully we'll, see you all here soon. And love, light, and peace be with you. So, And yeah, let's all, send all the good vibes and good energy to Shivangi. So see you all soon. Take care, and love, light, and peace be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve G. Congratulations, Shivangi. Good night, everyone.
Good night.